What's good, everybody? Welcome to the first episode of ChicoWeekly. This was a series that I talked about before on this channel. With the test episode, I mentioned that this will be coming out every Sunday. It would basically be highlighting the highlights, of the week prior. So, since the new year, since 2023 is starting on a perfect Sunday, which is the first day of the week, this is just going to be starting from Sunday, January 1st to Saturday, January 7th. That's what this first episode is going to be about. It's kind of an uneventful week in terms of, announcements for different fights and all that. But there was definitely a lot that happened in other news in terms of MMA. But we're going to get into that. We're going to start off with what happened on Sunday. Pretty uneventful day. On Sunday, it came out the poster for Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski for UFC 284. And kind of speechless about this poster because I don't know. In my opinion, it doesn't really look that good. It kind of it's too it's like a highlighter yellow and all that, and can't really see the champ versus champ. And the fact that Yair Rodriguez and Josh Emmett just take up way too much space in this poster. Maybe that's just me, but they definitely could have done a lot better and put a lot more effort into this poster. That's just my opinion, though. I feel like they should have definitely highlighted the fact that this is the first time that they've ever put together a fight with the number one pound-for-pound fighter in the world versus the number two pound-for-pound fighter in the world. This is champion versus champion, which they did highlight, but covered it up with their heads. I don't know why they did that, but, they definitely should have highlighted on that pound-for-pound fact. And also the fact that these two take up way too much of that poster. That might just be me. Also the fact that Makhachev and Volkanovski have so many combined wins. I'm pretty sure they're close to the number 50 combined wins. They could have highlighted that as well, but it is what it is. And we pushed through. I completely forgot to pull up the Ismagulov, but the number 12 ranked lightweight contender in the world right now, Damir Ismagulov, announced his retirement also on January 1st. He had complication with health issues that were really intervening with his career, and he was forced to end it early. Not even in his prime yet, still climbing up the ranks. Even though he came off of that loss against Arman Sarukian, he still had a long way to go. He had beaten a lot of good fighters at lightweight, such as Guram Kutateladze, Thiago Moises, and the list goes on. So sad to see him go, but I guess that's it is what it is. And I'm gonna have to scroll down pretty far for this one if I want to see starting from Sunday, January 1st. So just bear with me. But the first matchup announced for this year was, in fact, I forgot their name. Yeah, here it is. Rafael Assunção, I think I got that right. Rafael Assunção versus Kyler Phillips is happening UFC Vegas 71 on March 11th. That's a pretty interesting fight. There was an even more interesting fight announced on Monday, which was Jack Della Maddalena versus Randy Brown on February 11th. It was pretty speculative. It was pretty much common knowledge. It was kind of, a lot of people figured that this fight would be happening in Perth because there was a lot of talk about it. But it was only on January 2nd, on Monday, that it was confirmed that this fight was in fact happening. So that was Monday. Now we move on to Tuesday. We're going to go to the roster for this one. Tuesday, January 3rd, Nick Fiore was added to the UFC roster. And one fight got announced. It was, let me check. Oh, yeah. Also, a bit of a switching around for the for the first event of 2023. Dan Ige versus Damon Jackson was switched to the co-headliner after, obviously, Jeff Neal pulled out and the entire fight was scrapped from the card. So now they're the co-headliner. Vieira and Raquel Pennington, they have been moved to the main card. And so has Umar Nurmagomedov. Both of their fights have moved to the main card. Ribeiro and Al Hassan has been moved to the featured prelim. And Johnson versus Flick has been demoted to the prelims after they were previously meant to be on the main card. The only fight to get announced on Tuesday was Daniel Pineda versus Tucker Lutz for UFC San Antonio March 25th. We move on to Wednesday, where it came out that Dylan Dennis pulled out of his fight against KSI. That was meant to happen just 10 days after he decided to pull out. You know, Dylan Dennis is very hated in the mixed martial arts space, in the community. Nobody really likes him. I don't really like him. I don't have to explain why. But yeah, also, I didn't pull this stuff up because I didn't really want to feature it on my channel. Maybe YouTube looks at it, it's like, you know, too violent, whatever. But former UFC fighter Phil Baroni was arrested, and also that Ilia Topuria altercation with Omar Montez in the bar. I can't show that footage on YouTube, so you're just going to have to... I mean, you can look it up if you want. I'm pretty sure you've seen it already, probably. We move on to the roster now because... Wait. Oh, yeah. Shara Magomedov was added to the roster on Wednesday, but someone was also removed from the roster, and it was Francisco Trinaldo, one of the veterans in the space right now. He's one of the older fighters in the UFC right now. Sad to see him go, but yeah, it is what it is. That's all for the roster of that week. Also, it was announced that, or it wasn't really announced, because it was already common knowledge that it had happened, but where is it? Because it's not there. But Guram Kutateladze pulled out of his fight against Thiago Moises. That was meant to happen on January 21st for UFC 283. They were meant to fight on the prelims. It was, in my opinion, it was probably going to be a fight for someone to become ranked top 15, likely 15th place. So sad to see that fight fizzle out. But another thing happened on, I'm pretty sure, yeah, this was Wednesday. Jeff Neal and Shavkat Rakhmonov, I talked about this earlier. Jeff Neal had to pull out, but they were able to rebook this fight to happen on March 4th for UFC 285 in Las Vegas. So that's good. And we move on to Thursday. Thursday was a very, very eventful day for MMA, starting with Jake Paul, who ended up signing with the PFL. This is something I never would have seen coming. I never would have expected this to happen, especially not Jake Paul, especially not the PFL. But this is pretty big for MMA, and I mean, we'll see how far Jake Paul ends up going in his MMA career. Maybe he gets his first loss in combat sports. Who knows? I guess we'll just find out. But I'm pretty sure he's expected to have a boxing match at the end of February against Tommy Fury is what people are saying. So, I mean, if that's true, then it seems that like the PFL is letting him do other stuff. So I guess that's a good thing also. And it came out that Dana White's Power Slap League was delayed because it was supposed to feature on TBS, on TV, but the scheduling for it, at first, it was removed completely from TV scheduling, and then it was removed from the website. Obviously, that happened because of the Dana White incident with his wife. You already know all about that. But a lot of people thought that it was canceled, including myself, but eventually it was confirmed that it was just pushed back a week instead of canceled entirely. So, in other news, Jamal Hill got his brown belt. I didn't pull that up, but I thought that was interesting to say. We go to Marcel because a lot of fights got announced today. I think 7 fights got announced. Yeah. John Parisian versus Jamal Paguez was announced for UFC Vegas 69 on February 18th. This is going to be on the Vera Sanhagen undercard in the Apex. Mike Malott versus Johan Lainez for UFC Vegas 70 on February 25th. No main event announced for that yet. If we look here, the UFC announced their scheduling. We're in Thursday, by the way. I think I forgot to mention that. They announced their scheduling for January. They got 2 fights. February, they have 4 fights. March, they have 4 fights. They even got 2 pay-per-views in March. So it's pretty interesting to see where that's going to go. Still over half of these, or no, I think it's exactly half. Yeah, exactly half of the fights or events that they've got scheduled right now don't have a headliner as of today even, which is Sunday, January 8th. So we'll see where that goes. earlier today, this gym posted Mearshart versus Magomedov was rescheduled for 286 in London, but then the fight got canceled afterwards because Magomedov he won't have his visa in time to be able to fly to London. So what ended up happening was Gerald Mearshart versus Abusupian Magomedov got canceled indefinitely. So got rescheduled and then they got canceled. So sad to see that happen. Also, more things happen. Oh yeah, the official UFC Australian Twitter announced this fight. They also announced this one, but it was already confirmed that it was happening. Jennifer Maia and Casey O'Neill will be fighting March 18th for UFC 286. Headliner is still unclear. Also, since Hack Perez had to pull out of the fight, Jamie Malarkey will now be fighting Francisco Prado for UFC 284 in February 11th. Also, Kamuela Kirk will fight Esteban Ribovich, I don't know, at UFC 285 for March 4th. I think that was it. Or no, there's still more. Cynthia Calvillo will fight Lupi Godinez. This is the first confirmed fight for UFC 287, and it'll be happening on April 8th. So that's a fun one. And now we're in Friday. Jai Herbert versus Klein, because I'm not going to try to pronounce that first name. They're going to be fighting in London for the March 18th match in O2 Arena, the pay-per-view, UFC 286. That'll be a fun one. Also, there was an update to the UFC 283 card. The fight between Paul Craig and Johnny Walker was once again promoted to the main card, and the Shogun fight was demoted to the feature prelim. Kutateladze obviously pulled out, and Abdulrakimov versus Jailton Almeida is now the prelim opener. And the McKinney fight and the Staman fight switch places also. What else got announced? Lerone Murphy versus Nathaniel Wood is happening, UFC 286 for March 18th. And there's a few more for the 6th. Jose Johnson is making his UFC debut against Garrett Armfield in the UFC Apex for UFC Vegas 70 in February 25th. Alex Reyes will fight Trevor Peek, UFC Vegas 70, February 25th. Also, the return of Tatiana Suarez, and she will fight Montana De La Rosa at UFC Vegas 70, February 25th. Apparently, this came out on De La Rosa's OnlyFans. That's what I heard from from MMA Mania, who posted this also. Yeah, pretty wild how they were able to be the first ones to report on that. Don't know what they're up to, but you know, anything for the job, I guess. Trevin Giles is fighting Preston Parsons. It'll be a welterweight fight, March 25th for the UFC San Antonio card. I think that's it for Friday. For Saturday, it came out that Khabib Nurmagomedov wanted to leave the MMA industry indefinitely. What that means is he wants to get away from the coaching. He wants to focus more on his family, and he doesn't want to do much else involved in MMA. And like I said, he just wants to spend more time with the family. He wants to enjoy his retirement. And yeah, I'm pretty sure, in my opinion, I think he'll come back eventually. I think it's just maybe a break, short or long. It's just some time off, because I get it. Khabib's entire life was just built on fighting and wrestling and MMA. So you're going to want that time off, but I think eventually he might come back. And if he doesn't, then that's okay too. But for the final news of the week, it was announced on Saturday that Bo Nickel will fight Jamie Pickett at UFC 285 on March 4th. It is now official that this will actually be happening, and super excited for that fight. Super excited for a lot of these fights that came out this week. This is what the current state of the UFC for the next 3 or so, actually 4 months, because it's January 8th. This is April the 8th. So this is what the UFC looks like right now for the next 4 months. We got, how many is this? This is about 11 confirmed events that are happening. So super excited for a lot of these. And yeah, that's pretty much it for week 1, episode 1. That I don't know how to end this video at all. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the entire week. But today was the last day of winter break and all that. Tomorrow I'm gonna go back to school. I'm pretty sure that'll maybe help us with videos now, because I'm not on like a sort of vacation, whatever. I'm not traveling. I'm not, lazy. So I think this coming week and the weeks that follow, you're gonna see a lot more uploads. So I apologize for the inconsistency, but 2023 we're gonna keep bringing more and more content now that the vacation is all over. So yeah, I don't know what the next video is gonna be about. I don't want to make it on the Jake Paul thing because I'm kind of late to all that. So we'll see whatever happens next, and I'll make whatever video about it. Yeah, this poster is not it at all.